Hello, my name is Hannah, and I am a study abroad alumni as well as a student worker at the Office of Education Abroad. And welcome to Education Abroad 111. In this presentation, I'm going to go over all of the study abroad basics and essentially everything that you need to know before starting the process of going on an education abroad program. So let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, the first thing that I want to go over is why should you study abroad? Obviously, the list of reasons why you should study abroad is long and it would be impossible to mention absolutely everything, but here are some different things that you may or may not have thought of why it would be a great idea to study abroad. The first one being that you do get to earn academic credit that will transfer back to NMSU when you come back from studying abroad. So any classes that you take while abroad are going to go towards your degree, so you stay on track for graduation. Another reason why you might think about studying abroad is to study a foreign language and be completely immersed in that language and interact with people who are native speakers of that language. So I'll go into more depth about what immersive language programs look like here in a few slides, but it is a unique opportunity to study a foreign language in the country where it's spoken. The next thing is that you get to learn about a brand new culture. No matter where you go in the world, it's going to have a completely different set of culture or completely different culture and set of customs from the United States. And it's a unique opportunity to be able to immerse yourself in that for an extended period of time and really learn about it in a firsthand sort of way. You'll also be able to gain international perspective and broaden your horizons a little bit, jump outside of the US for an extended period of time and see the world and even see a different schooling system than what you're used to at New Mexico State University. Studying abroad is definitely a step outside of your comfort zone. It's going to push you to do things that you might not have done if you just stayed at NMSU, and it allows you to kind of learn more about yourself because you're outside of your comfort zone. You'll also develop important 21st century skills and build a global network. So the skills that you pick up on your study abroad experience are things that employers love to see. And you'll also get to make connections with people at international universities and even just make friends with people from around the world and expand your network in that sense as well. And lastly, it sounds a little bit cheesy, but studying abroad truly is a transformative experience. All of my friends that I've talked to who have also gone on study abroad programs have said the same thing. You are definitely not the same person when you get back from studying abroad that you were when you went. So it's really, truly transformative and changes you for the better. All right, in terms of education abroad at NMSU specifically, we offer over 100 programs in over 35 different countries. So there are tons of options available for you. There's also a variety of program types to choose from that I'll go over here in a few slides. And there's a variety of length and term options as well. So this makes it easy to find a program that fits with your academic schedule because you can study abroad for as short as 1 week all the way up to an entire year if that's what you're looking for. And we have programs during summer, winter break, as well as the spring and fall semesters. In terms of the countries that you can study abroad in, we have programs open currently in countries in Europe, Asia, Latin America, Australia, Africa, and the Middle East. So almost every continent except Antarctica. So again, there's lots of flexibility to find a program location that works for you. All right, and here is a list of the different program types that we offer. The first is probably our most popular and the one that a lot of people already know about, and that is the exchange program. With an exchange program, the way it works is we send NMSU students to an international university to study, and then that international university sends students back to NMSU. So that's where you get the concept of an exchange. The cool thing about this type of program is that you do get to pay in-state NMSU tuition while you're studying at that international university. So even if you're currently paying out-of-state tuition, you would get that discount for in-state tuition for that semester or year or however long your exchange program is. This is really awesome because it can make these programs much more affordable. The direct program works very similar to an exchange program. You get to go over to an international university and study there for a semester or a year. The difference here is that you are enrolled directly at that university, so you will pay their tuition rates. The cool thing about this kind of program is that it does open up the options a little bit more for the locations that you can travel to because it's sometimes run through a third party that offers different locations than what we offer for exchange programs, but they can be a little bit more pricey. The next kind of program that we offer is an intensive language program. And this is what I was mentioning a little bit at the beginning of the presentation. It allows you to go abroad for between 2 and 4 weeks to truly just study a language in that native country environment. You do earn academic credit for these programs, between 3 and 6 language credits to use towards your degree. And they're a really awesome way to get that first-hand language experience. The next kind of program that we offer is a faculty-led international program. And these kinds of programs are also between 2 and 4 weeks long, and they're a great option if you are interested in studying abroad with other NMSU students, because they are run by an NMSU faculty member who takes a group of NMSU students to another country to study a specific subject. So for example, we have a professor at NMSU who takes a group of students to Costa Rica for a few weeks to study tropical ecology, and you do also earn academic credit on these programs as well. Internships and volunteering can be added on to any of the programs I just mentioned, and it gives you another option to really interact with the community that you're studying abroad in. They are unpaid internships, but it's a really great experience to be able to add on to any of the program types. We also offer virtual international experiences, which became really popular once COVID-19 hit, because it allows you to get an international experience without ever having to leave your home. The cool thing about these is that they can be added on to your current NMSU course load, so you can take it on top of your NMSU schedule any semester that you want. There are research projects and internships where you're paired with faculty members from international universities. You're creating a global network, but from the comfort of your own home. So definitely check those out if it sounds interesting to you. The last kind of program that is relatively new to our office, it's been at NMSU for a while, but it's now under the Education Abroad umbrella, is the National Student Exchange Program. And let me go ahead and change slides because the next slide goes over a little bit more of the details of NSE. So National Student Exchange Programs allow you to spend a semester or a year studying at one of nearly 200 universities throughout the US, Guam, Puerto Rico, and the US Virgin Islands. So essentially United States and the surrounding territories. This is a really unique opportunity to be able to explore grad schools in the United States that you might be thinking about going to once you graduate from NMSU, or just experience what it's like to live in another state or US territory. Also, starting in fall 2021, NMSU students will be able to study abroad in Canada, but it falls under the NSE program. So it works similarly to an international exchange program, but it falls under NSE, and you'll work with an NSE coordinator to make that happen. To be eligible for an NSE program, you have to be an undergraduate student, a sophomore in credits, over 18, fully enrolled at NMSU, and have a minimum GPA of 2.5. So there are information sessions for National Student Exchange that go over a little bit more of the details for these kinds of programs. So if it sounds interesting to you, definitely check one of those information sessions out, or contact the NSE coordinator at nsc@nmsu.edu. All right, so jumping back into international programs, the eligibility for these kinds of programs is very similar to the NSE eligibility requirements, in that you also have to be a sophomore in credits and over 18 and have a minimum GPA of 2.5. So the GPA requirement does vary depending on the program that you pick. So some programs require a slightly higher GPA, but there are programs available for that 2.5 level. Deadlines to apply for international programs are between 6 months to a full year out. So that's why we require you to be a sophomore in credits, because it gives you lots of time to plan and get everything in order before you go abroad. So if you're interested in going abroad, definitely start planning as early as possible. All right, one of the biggest misconceptions or myths about studying abroad is that you have to be a specific major to be able to make it work, or that certain majors, it's just not going to pan out for you. We like to think that because of the flexibility of the different types of programs we offer, that no matter what your major is, if you're planning ahead, we can find a program that fits with your schedule. So with the proper planning, you can take both your general education requirements as well as some major and minor course requirements while studying at an international university. This allows you to stay on track for graduation. Another really cool thing about studying abroad at NMSU is that studying abroad for at least 4 weeks is going to give you a Viewing a Wider World waiver. So essentially what this means is most NMSU degrees require you to have at least 2 Viewing a Wider World courses. And if you study abroad for at least 4 weeks, one of those courses is waived for you. So you won't get a grade for the class. It doesn't affect your GPA at all, but it's just waived and you don't have to take that second course requirement. So it opens up your schedule a little bit more to take a class that you may or may not have had room for in your schedule if you hadn't studied abroad. An important thing to keep in mind is that you will work with your education abroad advisor before you go abroad to make sure that all of your courses are going to transfer and that you take the correct courses while studying at an international university through the course equivalency process. So you won't be alone in trying to figure out how all the academic stuff works. All right, the next thing that we're going to go over is cost and funding for study abroad programs. The biggest thing to remember is that study abroad is an investment in the future, and it also can be affordable. So basically what this means is that you're getting what you're paying for. You're going to be gaining skills and being able to put this on your resume, and it's an investment in the future. So it's definitely worth the cost. And of course, it can be affordable. So if you think about those exchange programs allowing you to pay in-state tuition, many programs can actually be comparable to a cost of a semester at NMSU. So a lot of people think study abroad is completely unaffordable for them, but we have programs available for students of all financial backgrounds, and we'll work with you to make sure that we find a program that fits within your budget. So the best way to learn more about what it's going to cost to study abroad is to meet with an education abroad advisor, and at that meeting, they'll give you what is called an estimated budget sheet that's going to go over all of the following costs that you see here on your screen. So this includes your application fee, any tuition fees, passport and visa fees, health insurance, housing and meals, airfare, as well as personal expenses, books and supplies, and we try and estimate how much you might spend on excursions or travel during your free time. Obviously, all of these are going to be estimates. There's no way for us to know for sure exactly what your airfare is going to cost, but we'll do our best to give you an accurate budget to be able to plan for and figure out what program works and within your budget. Another really awesome part about studying abroad at NMSU is that you can use your current financial aid to help pay for your study abroad program. So if you're currently receiving any kind of New Mexico state aid, institutional scholarships, or federal aid, you can use that to pay for a program as long as you continue to meet your eligibility requirements. So for example, if your current financial aid award requires you to take a certain number of credits every semester, you just have to ensure that when you're studying abroad, you continue to meet that credit load, as well as your GPA requirements, degree completion, and whatever other requirements your scholarship may have. As long as you're meeting those just like normal, then you'll be able to use it to pay for your program. So once you've met with your education abroad advisor and you've got that budget sheet in hand, you'll go ahead and set up an appointment with your financial aid advisor, who's going to help you figure out how much of your scholarships can transfer, as well as how to make sure that that transfer process happens. Another important thing to keep in mind when thinking about cost and funding for study abroad programs is that there are scholarships available to make any kind of study abroad program that much more affordable for you. So our Office of Education Abroad does offer office-specific scholarships for NMSU students. And the really cool thing is that all you have to do is make sure your Scholar Dollar is filled out and up to date in order to be put in the running and become eligible for these scholarships. So we have scholarships available for fall, spring, and summer programs. Just keep your Scholarship Dollar up to date so that you can be put in the running for these. Outside of our office, there are also tons of national and statewide scholarships available to apply for specific to studying abroad. One that we really like to point out to students is the Benjamin A. Gilman Scholarship. And this is run through the U.S. Department of State, so it is a national level scholarship, but it can help you earn up to $5,000 towards your study abroad experience, and there are over 3,600 scholarships offered each academic year. So there are 2 application cycles for this one. There's one in March and one in October. Depending on when you want to complete your study abroad program is when you'll apply for this scholarship. In order to be eligible for the Gilman, you do have to be a U.S. citizen, an undergrad student, and eligible to receive a Pell Grant. If you're not sure if you're eligible for a Pell Grant, definitely just ask your financial aid advisor and they'll be happy to let you know if that is something you're eligible for. The last eligibility requirement is just that you participate in a study abroad program of at least 2 weeks if you're attending community college, or 3 weeks for a 4-year college like NMSU full-time. There are also these other national scholarships available. If you're interested in an intensive language study program, check out the Critical Language Scholarship, which will fully fund a summer of language study of any language deemed critical need to the US government. So there are tons of different languages on that list. And this, because it is a fully funded scholarship, it's a little bit more of a selective process. But if you're thinking about doing intensive language, definitely check it out because it can fully fund your program for you. There's also the Freeman Asia Scholarship, which works very similarly to the Gilman, where you do have to be eligible for a Pell Grant. The difference here is that it's for students interested in attending a program in East or Southeast Asia. There's also the Fulbright U.S. Scholarship Program for graduate students, and this will help fund your study abroad as well as any research projects that you complete at an international university, and there are lots of different awards available there for grad students. There's also the Gilman-McCain Scholarship for dependents of active duty service members. And there are tons of other scholarships available as well. So if you're looking for scholarships, check out our scholarship page of our website, and they can definitely make your study abroad experience much more affordable. All right, the next thing that we're going to cover is health and safety while studying abroad. So the most important thing to keep in mind for this section is that you will be required to attend a mandatory pre-departure orientation session prior to going abroad. So this will happen the semester before you leave the States to go to your international university, and it'll go over everything you need to know about culture shock, about how to get medical help while you're studying abroad, what to do if you get sick while you're in the international country, and tons of other great information for you. You'll also be enrolled in the U.S. Department of State's Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. And essentially, the STEP program just alerts the U.S. Embassy in whatever country you're studying in that you're there as a U.S. citizen for an extended period of time, so that if anything were to happen while you're in that country, they'll be able to locate you and help you make a plan to get back to the States safely. This is something that we highly recommend for anyone going abroad for any reason, even if it's just for personal travel. It's just an added layer of security to help keep you safe while you're in an international country. That being said, another way that we keep our students safe while traveling abroad is by following the New Mexico State University travel policy. And this permits us to only send students to countries that are within the level 1 or level 2 of the U.S. Department of State's travel advisory system. So you can see the levels on your screen. A level 1 or 2 is exercise normal or increased caution. Anytime that a country is in or moves into level 3 or 4, reconsider travel or do not travel. We do have to either not send students there or bring them back home if they're in the country when that happens. So this did happen in spring of 2020 when COVID-19 hit. All countries moved up into a level 4. So we were able to reach out to all of our NMSU students who are completing travel study abroad programs to come up with a plan to get them back home safely and make sure that they were able to complete all of their classes for that semester. So hopefully nothing like this ever happens again, and it's very rare that it does, but just know that we're always looking out for you, making sure that you stay safe and you're in a country that is safe to travel to. All right, we also do require that you have comprehensive medical insurance for all international programs. So we will enroll you in NMSU's Geo Blue Health Insurance Plan that helps make sure that you're able to get medical help while you're studying abroad. Another important thing to know is that once you're in the international country, you're not just going to be left to your own devices. You're going to have on-site support and resources there and available for you at your international university. So most study abroad programs will have an on-site orientation for you when you first get there. And this is going to help you adjust to your new environment. It'll introduce you to the campus. A lot of times it's going to help go over your class schedule to make sure that it looks correct. And they're really there just to introduce you to your new home and make sure that you're comfortable and taken care of. And there'll be on-site resources and support for you during your entire program. So if you need counseling services, someone to help with culture shock or homesickness, or even just someone to recommend a local restaurant, they're there for you to help make sure that your experience is the best that it possibly can be. All right, so those are all of the basics that you need to know about what studying abroad looks like and how to get started on applying for a program. So now that you know all the basics, I'm going to talk a little bit about my personal experience studying abroad so that you can kind of see what a program looks like. So I studied abroad in spring of 2019 at the University of Roehampton in Southwest London. This was an exchange program, so I did pay NMSU in-state tuition during this semester. And it was an absolutely incredible experience. I am an education major, so most of my courses were either gen ed or education specific, but friends that I made while I was there were biology majors, psychology, film, and more. So again, there's that flexibility. No matter what your major is, there are programs available for you. My program had on-campus housing, so this varies depending on the program location that you pick. Some programs offer host family experiences or off-campus housing. My program was on campus, so I lived in a dorm with an individual room, so I didn't have a roommate, but I did have a shared living space with 6 other flatmates. So we had a kitchen and living area that we shared. My program offered a meal plan, and I went ahead and chose that option just to make it a little bit easier, so I didn't have to worry too much about cooking while I was studying abroad. But usually there is a choice there on whether or not you want the meal plan or the availability to just cook for yourself. I really liked the University of Roehampton because it was located in a quiet suburb of London. But if I wanted to jump into the city center for any of the museums or touristy type of things, it was just a bus or train ride away. Unfortunately, at the time that I'm making this video, this program is closed, but we do have other programs available in the UK if this looks interesting to you. So definitely check out the University of Birmingham or Swansea, Wales, or even Ireland if you're interested in the UK. So this is just a little bit more about kind of what I did outside of the academic side of studying abroad. There's lots to explore in London and England. I loved that there were free museums in the city, live theater that I was able to experience with student discounts since I was studying there, and palaces and tons of history to explore. My university, the University of Roehampton, also arranged what was called a social program for any international students that wanted to sign up for it, which planned social excursions for us on the weekends to different cities and landmarks within the surrounding English countryside. So a lot of study abroad programs, international universities will set these kinds of programs up for you if you're interested, to help you figure out kind of what to do with your weekends and make sure that you see the area surrounding the university that you're studying at. Another really cool thing if you're thinking about studying abroad in Europe is that travel around mainland Europe is really, really easy once you're there and relatively affordable as well. So London specifically has 6 airports, which made it really easy to get to mainland Europe. And then once you're there, flights are pretty cheap. If you're willing to put everything in a backpack that sits under the seat in front of you instead of paying for any extra luggage, you can find really, really affordable flights. And so with that, I was able to visit lots of other countries on my weekends and spring break and all those other school breaks. So for me personally, I saw France, Germany, Poland, Czech Republic, Scotland, and the Netherlands. So again, it's just really, really easy and affordable to travel within Europe if that's where you're thinking of studying. All right, so now that you've been bombarded with all of this information about studying abroad, and I'm sure you're getting really excited about starting this journey for yourself, the next thing that you're going to want to do is set up an account with us and make an appointment to meet with an advisor. So I'll walk you through how to do that. It's pretty simple. All you have to do to make an appointment is go to our website, which is oel.nmsu.edu/educationabroad, and then you're going to look for the 3 crimson buttons on the right-hand side of your screen. And if you've never made an account with us before, you'll want to select the middle one that says create a new account. And that's going to take you to a page where you'll just select that you have an NMSU username and password and log in using your My NMSU credentials. So what this does is it sets up a study abroad account for you using the NMSU username and password that you already have, which makes it really easy for you. You don't have to create a new password. Once you have an account set up, you'll sign into that account and then you'll be able to schedule an appointment by clicking the schedule an appointment button. When scheduling an appointment, you'll want to choose an advisor to meet with. And once you've selected that advisor, depending on the location that you're thinking of studying to, you'll just click the request an appointment or information button. And that'll pull up this information request form that you see here on the right-hand side. And this is where you'll put in all of your information to let the study abroad advisor know a little bit more about you. So in the subject bar, we just ask that you put your first and last name and your Aggie ID number, and then you'll click the hyperlink that says click to request an appointment, which will pull up that advisor's available dates and times, and you just select one that fits with your schedule. And then in the message section, just put in your major, GPA, the year that you currently are in school, as well as where and when you might, you're thinking about studying abroad. If you're not completely sure yet exactly what semester or even exactly what location you want to go quite yet, that is totally fine. Just type something to give the advisor an idea of what you're thinking. So you could put something as simple as, I really want to go somewhere that speaks Spanish, or I really want to go to Europe, but I'm not sure which country. And in terms of when you want to go, you could even put something like, I would like to go during my sophomore year, but I'm not sure which semester. Again, just giving that advisor some kind of idea of what you're thinking about for your study abroad program. All right, and then we have some contact information for you for our office. We are located in Garcia Center on campus in room 224. And then that is our office phone number, which is active from 8 to 5 every day. You're also more than welcome to send us an email at educationabroad@nmsu.edu, or check out our website if you want to browse programs and scholarship options. Our website is oel.nmsu.edu/educationabroad. If social media is your thing, you're also welcome to follow our Facebook page or our Instagram page for more updates. We post about upcoming information sessions, scholarships. We highlight different study abroad alumni's experiences so you can see what other programs look like, and give tons of great information on those pages. So definitely follow us if you're interested in kind of seeing what our office is up to on a week-to-week basis. And with that, that is the end of the presentation. That is everything that you need to know about study abroad basics for New Mexico State University. If you have any further questions for the office, feel free to give us a call or send us an email. And we look forward to working with you to start your education abroad journey. Thanks.